February, the month of love, and you're watching Faces of Love, a new episode of Valentina Design Universe. And I am your host, Valentina Cirasola. My guest today is a sculptor. She loves to get her hands into the clay, and she makes life masks. Her name is Rebecca Love. Let's welcome her, and she will tell us all about her Faces of Love. Welcome, Rebecca, to the show. It's so nice to have you here today.
Thank you, Valentina.
So, you love to get your hands in this sensual materials that comes from earth, the clay.
Yes.
And you make life masks. Tell us, did you always do this kind of art, or at one point you were using a different medium and then you evolved into mask making? How did you start?
Well, Valentina, that's a great question because clay was the furthest thing from my mind when I was younger. I wanted to be a fashion illustrator. So I went to school at the University of Southern Mississippi. I'm a Southern girl, to study art. And fashion design was the direction I wanted to go in. And clay had no place in my life. It was mud. So I went to school. During the summers, I'd come home and I'd work at a local department store in the cosmetic department. And it turned out that I had more a direction going into corporate life and not wanting to be a starving artist. And now we changed that a little bit. And I was studying faces. For 20 years, I worked with two top cosmetic companies. I was a training director and a makeup artist. So you can see where I got the faces. So
amazing. I didn't know you were into cosmetics.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I read about you from your website and I got informed. So I did not know that aspect of your artistry.
Yes.
So when you make faces, because it is, I mean, clay is highly decorative for home decor, vases and other things. But when you make faces, it's a different kind of art. Do you always make real people's faces, or you have faces in your fantasies that you make them come alive?
Well, I'm known for what I do in doing life masks, you can see. But I also do the smaller ones too, as you're wearing one as well.
I'm wearing one,
yes, and I have the smaller faces.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, when I first started in clay, I wanted to do portraits from scratch. And I would take the 22 measurements and photographs. But that sort of fell by the wayside, and this came into play. And
I must say, they are beautiful. They are really, really attractive.
Thank you.
They're spectacular the way you do it, because you bring the spirit out of a person. So as a photographer, for instance, when they make portrait, they allow the person to talk and talk and talk. They make directed question to bring them out their spirit or their personality. How do you know when to put out the person spirit? How do you know how to do that? Because these faces, to me, they are real, and I know the story behind. They come from real people, and they do have their personality. How do you do that?
Well, first of all, I do display some of my own work. For instance, the mermaid or the sea theme pieces, and the African pieces. So that's the work that I do personally. But people will come in and see that, and once I tell them, oh, by the way, you can have your own face done, and I tell them they can have a mold of their face done, and create a story mask or an image that they like. They're fascinated.
They are. But when they stand with a mask on, do they make faces? Do they smile, laugh, in order for them to bring out their real personality? Or how do they do it? Because I have no idea.
Sometimes they laugh, sometimes they're frightened, sometimes they're somber, but I come back and I can intensify that smile or lighten up their look a little. I sit down with them and talk to them about what they want. Okay. For instance, I have a client coming up, and they like frogs, and they love lily pads, and they love fish. So the husband and wife are going to talk to me about themselves. Why does he like fish? Why is she so drawn to that? So I get to know why that's their story. This is a story mask here, and this is me actually, and it gives
this one here.
Yes, this is me, and it's mementos of my life or around this, and it tells a little bit of my story. This is my mother, and
that is beautiful.
Beautiful Mama Love, I call it. And she's quite the, she draws people in, my mother. But she loved gardenias, and I put a gardenia on her.
And what is the story of you here? What is, you said they are mementos of your life. What is this about?
Well, first of all, I'm from New Orleans, so we have a little Mardi Gras beads going on.
Yes.
This was my mother's necklace, and she wore a lot of gold, but I wear more silver than gold. So I wanted to put that on my mask. I've done Renaissance fairs, so this is sort of mementos from Renaissance fairs. And there was a wonderful friend I have of 45 years who always called me Dorothy, and I called him Straw, because when I came to California from Louisiana, I stepped off the plane. He says, "Dorothy, you have arrived in Oz." So for 45 years, he called me Dorothy. And I lost him 2 years ago, so it's really wonderful to be able to tell his story a little bit.
That's beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
You're my faith here, and I have a children's painting garden with small shapes that they paint, so a little bit of my story.
Yes.
And Mother would write me beautiful letters, so on this mask of mine, I put the sweet letter she wrote, remembering all the first step, the first snow, the first love.
About you.
About me.
How
so you
beautiful.
can put that on your mask. So I relate that to people. When they see this, they start thinking, oh, I could put this on my mask, or I could do this, or I could be a mermaid, or I could be a fairy, or I could do this with my own
So they
face.
can fantasize, and you can come, you make them alive. You can make
I capture moments.
Yes, you capture
and then I tell their story.
And you also capture their memories, because they can put, I mean, writing your first of everything, that's a great
It's a memory of my mother that I will remember,
Beautiful, absolutely lovely. But I have a question, because I usually tend to have one tricky question.
Yes.
You know, when we go to museums, we see busts made of bronze, or faces made of bronze, of famous people who are no longer on this earth, but they have left a legacy, and we want to remember them by having a bust. So what's the story behind a person who's still alive that wants to have a face made? Why?
Well, you know, I asked that question to a friend of mine who wanted to have hers done, and I said, why do you want to have this done? She said, first of all, I love your work, and why not have a piece of your work on the wall of my face? And who could better tell your story but yourself? And you better tell it now, because someone else is going to tell it after you're gone.
Right.
So it would be a great memory. It would be an heirloom piece to pass through a family. But it's an old art. It goes as far back as Egyptian times, when they did death and life masks, which I have done both. I prefer you alive, but I have done death masks before.
Really?
Yes.
It's the reason why I asked you that, is that when I wear this little piece, which I love, and I do wear very often, sometimes I wear with something else, but sometimes I just wear it alone. There are a few people, one of my friends, he said, oh, I can look at you and your face when you have this thing hanging off of you. What is with that?
Well, because the eyes are open, and it's
Right.
probably they think it's a little eerie. And I've had people come in.
Well, we have eyes.
Yes, but
So if they look at me in the eyes,
well,
they think
you're
I'm
real. You know, you're real. I have had them come up and say, "Oh, creepy," and I'll lean over. I'll say, "Creepy, good."
Yes.
And they'll do, "Well, yeah, it's just so real," which validates my work, which is great.
Absolutely,
Yeah. But
yeah.
some people, they don't like it. That's okay. There are many people that do.
Oh well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, whatever, you know, whatever their taste is. I think they're just gorgeous, and that's all there is to it. I'm looking at it in the monitor right now, and I know it's just gorgeous. I love it.
I'm happy
Yeah.
when I do these faces, and
Yeah.
you can tell. I put
Yeah.
my jeweler's eyes on, and I'm right up in that little world of creating happy faces for people.
So to do these miniature, it's much more intricate
intricate
and
work,
complicated
yeah.
than doing these
Well,
big.
this, you know, the detail on this, but this challenges my eyes.
Yes.
You know, so I've
Yes.
got to get really close in that world.
Absolutely,
Yes.
yeah. So now I want to roll some pictures of some work that you've done. So let's see if the director can show us the first picture. There we go. Okay.
So this is the, this is
what
the
is it?
process.
That's the process.
This is
so
the process of, I use plaster wrap, similar to what you would use if you broke your arm, and they're in strips, and you are breathing, their nose hole is left open, and I do not use straw. So I'm making the mold here of a negative of you. And so when it comes off,
Yeah.
the inside is the negative, and then I lay clay inside of that.
And the
pull
eyes are
positive.
closed?
Eyes are closed, and then I open the eyes in the clay from the photographs.
Okay.
So I will take extensive photographs of you, and then I create those eyes open.
And that will not be, like I'm claustrophobic. If I have anything on my face, I will just go nuts.
Well, it's like a facial mask. And remember, I worked in cosmetics, so
Yes.
I have music going, and it's comfortable.
Got
and
it.
I use, you know, coconut oil, and so it's very relaxing. Absolutely.
So nobody has ever complained.
Well, I've had a few people tell me they might be frightened, and I said, the minute if you feel a little claustrophobic, let me know, it'll come off. But they've come back and done it again. So
Nice.
Definitely.
Okay. So that must be fun. Can we see the second picture? Let's see what we have here.
this is Chuck. Chuck.
Hi, Chuck.
Hi, Chuck. Chuck was wonderful. As you see, he played many musical instruments, but he played the clarinet, and his family commissioned me to do this, and he played other instruments. I forgot, and that was his favorite song. You know, I've got the what was it? I forgot the song, but it's one of his favorite songs. And he loved theater. He loved mask. He was just a vibrant musical
Chap.
chap. Chuck. He's not with us anymore, but he left a great memory.
What about the eyebrow and the mustache? How did you do that?
That was his. That's the impression. So I have to come back and then put that back. You know, give it a little bit more life.
Wow, I didn't know that. Really, those are his?
Those are his. Yes.
That's amazing. They look so real.
Yes,
That's
definitely.
amazing. Yes. Wow. Okay, let's see the third picture.
This is Eternity. This was a gentleman who sought me out for 2 years and wanted me to do his childhood Marvel comic character Eternity from 1968. And I kept saying, no, I just don't do the work. No, no, no. And he says, you're the only one that can do this, please. And so I finally took on the challenge, and this is Eternity. And you can't see this, but it has little twinkle lights in there.
Right.
And it also has lighting in the back
Right.
when it changes in modes. But that was a fun piece to do, Eternity.
Eternity. So why you didn't want to do that?
It wasn't my style.
Okay.
It just wasn't the style I was doing. But I said, what are you doing? It's a challenge. Go for it. And now I loved it. It was a great challenge.
Colors are beautiful.
Colors
too.
are beautiful, yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. Let's see the next one. I think the fourth one.
Yes.
I think you have 5. This is beautiful.
This is Carol, and she is a Southern belle. We love Carol. And she loved magnolias, and she wanted a fairy-like piece. So this is the fairy-like piece with the magnolia.
So these are real people,
Yes, they
right?
are.
Behind these masks, they're real people.
Real people. And you see the little face up here. She has her little pin up there that she can
Yes.
take. She can take that off,
Yes,
and she can wear it if she likes.
Oh, so that's detachable.
Detachable, yes.
Oh, nice. That's great.
Wearable art.
Wearable art. And I've seen these little faces that you wear it on your hats, and they're just beautiful. Whether they're brooches or pendant for the necklace, or you put them on your hair, or your hats.
Yes.
I've seen you wear it in many
over.
different ways. They're just stunning. And the next one?
Morgan. Morgan was Chuck's friend, is Chuck's friend, and Morgan is still with us, and he's in his 90s. He loved the New York Times. He reads it every morning. And he and his wife traveled extensively. She's an author, and they went to Egypt, all over the world. He's a Bears fan. He reads a lot. Fabulous man. That's Morgan.
Wow.
And still around.
Incredible. And he's in his 90s, you
He's
said?
in his 90s. So you see, it's a privilege to do this work. It really is a privilege, because I get to know these fabulous people and hear their story, and they're friends for life.
I know. And then they hang them on the walls,
Hang
or
on the wall
yeah?
and pass it down to the children. You know.
That's that's what I thought they're for. You know,
Yes.
to pass them to the generation.
Absolutely. I mean, I have my mother's. I mean, Mama
Yeah.
is with me every show. I take her with me everywhere, and she's wonderful.
And it's you know, it's different than having that person on photographs. It's very different to have it life size.
Absolutely.
With you all the time. I know I would feel so much company if I had my mother like that.
Yes, absolutely. It's quite lovely to have her.
Yeah.
And your children, like this is my latest. This is Xander. It took him 2 years to sit with me. And he actually came 2 years ago and it said, no, I'm not ready yet. And came again. His mother brought him again. He put a little plaster on. No, I'm not ready yet. And in October, he sat for me and got through it, and it's a beautiful, beautiful cast. So I'm not through with this. This will be done this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it has ever happened that you do a mask from photographs?
No, I don't do that.
You can't do that,
yeah.
right?
It would be a lot different. You'd have to have
three-dimensional,
three-dimensional, or a roundabout of all the
rotating,
to get it right. I tried it one time, and it didn't come out as great. So
how long have you been doing this for?
About 20 years.
Long time.
A long time, and I do traditional pottery too, and do some other.
I know you do.
Other things as well, but this is what I'm known for, definitely.
Yes, absolutely. The faces of love. Now, I do remember the first time I met you, you said, I've always put love in my pieces. And I didn't even know your last name was Love.
Yes,
so now I understand.
Yes.
And
I grew up with that name.
Yes.
It wasn't a given. It was a given name at birth. So,
nice.
My name.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like love all your life.
Love.
Yeah. So you went to Africa. And you said, I read it in your website, you said that it changed your life.
It did, yes.
I went to Africa too many years ago when women could travel in that area by themselves. Nobody put me in the harem, so I was happy that I came back home. But what changed your life when you went to Africa?
Well, I'm on the board of a small nonprofit Christian organization called Kids for the Kingdom, and I went to Kenya with them, and I fell in love with the people, and they're gracious, they're loving, despite what their living conditions are. And I met a group of women that were weavers, basket weavers, and fell in love with them, and it was on my heart to bring those beautiful baskets, which we do. We bring them back, sell the baskets, and rebuy them and send them the money. But we serve 17 countries, so it's sustainable living and raising chickens and goats and sharing the love.
Very
And
nice.
they 2 years into me knowing them, I brought some plaster with me to Kenya, thinking
Right.
maybe one of them might let me cast them. But you know, that was a very sacred thing to them. You know, you might be taking their spirit. So I asked them, and Miss Elizabeth said, "I'll do it, Rebecca." So she sat down. I cast her, same way you saw in the film, and then another one wanted it, and then another one. And after the day or 2 days, 20 of them wanted their faces done. So they wanted to participate in this crazy American woman who's coming and putting white plaster on my face. But I brought them back a smaller version, unpainted, undecorated, and I said, "Here, now you decorate." And they were amazing because they did beautiful decorations. They took some of their basket backs and put behind it, like you see. Well, I think I don't have one here, but basket backs on it. And we're women helping and encouraging each other across the world. So it was it changed my life, and they're sisters for life. In fact, Christmas Day, I picked up 150 of their baskets.
Oh my!
Yes, so we
yes.
are still very active with them, and it's
And so I imagine they're very colorful. And
oh, they're beautiful. Yes.
I know. Their art
Very,
is
very
just
colorful.
spectacular
Yes.
too. So do they ever come here? And
We did bring when I first introduced the baskets to America. I say from Rehoboth. That's the name of the women's group. We brought one of them over, and it was quite wonderful. And she loved being here, but she loved her country more. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they missed it. And this actually is my Kenyan mama. This is this when my mother passed away. Mama mine adopted me as her daughter, and so she's my Kenyan mama. So I have two mamas up here.
Right. Yes.
Yes.
And so now they have seen the mask that you made of them, and
they were giddy little girls with decorating. "Oh, you made it so beautiful," they said, Rebecca. So this is this tribal decoration was inspired by a young tribe on the border of Kenya and Ethiopia, and they're the Omo Valley tribe. And a photographer named Hans Sylvester photographed them, and that sort of inspired me. And I asked them if I could use that type of decoration on their faces, and they absolutely, and they were wonderful. So this is how they decorate. They'll go out. They'll decorate with their hands. I'm a little bit more controlled. And then they go out into the bush and put things around them and decorate just like we do.
right.
And prance around.
And
Jump in the river, wash it off, start again. Just like we do.
okay.
With our makeup and our frilly little things.
Yes, and then we take it off.
We take it off.
Next day we put it on
This
again.
is what they do, and they're
That's
beautiful.
what they do. Yes.
They're beautiful.
And is this used for this kind of decoration? Is also used for ceremonies or just for everyday
With this
thing?
tribe, it was purely art. They're young,
yeah.
they paint, they prance around.
Nice.
Purely art. And they'll do it in about a minute.
Lovely.
Takes me a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very lovely. I absolutely love what you do.
Thank you.
You've been an inspiration,
Thank you.
and so I will keep on getting your things. I have things in ceramics that I hang on my wall at home, and I have leaves.
But you don't have your face, Valentina.
No, I don't.
We need to have your face on the wall.
Well, I thought I'm not beautiful enough to have a mask.
We need to have your face on the wall. Absolutely.
Well, let me think about it.
think about it.
The thing is, I'm claustrophobic.
I'll work with you on that.
So, I don't know. I would have to drink a lot of wine.
We could do a half mask. We could do a half one like you have.
Yeah, we can do a half a
Lovely.
mask.
A half a
yeah,
mask,
yeah.
yes.
Well, I think the show is coming to an end. It's so
Been a pleasure.
Just
Yes.
it's just so fast. The time goes by so fast. There is so much I want to ask the guest, but it's not always possible to do a long conversation.
Yes.
Anyway, it has been a great pleasure for you to be here and have the audience know about your art. Now, you do go to the Dickens Fair every
Absolutely.
year, right? So,
6 weekends this year, 5 weekends next year.
right.
Yes.
So, we do have your website up,
Yes.
but in case someone wants to find you, it is a fun thing to go to the fair,
Yes,
to Dickens
absolutely.
Fair in November and December, and you bring just a lot of joy and love to the
you.
art you do in people's life.
I enjoy it. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure.
Yes.
So, as I said many times, wear colors and don't worry about what other people say in the colors you live. Wear them and be spirited and get your life in a very fun position.
Absolutely.
And this is one of the way to express the love,
Yes.
right?
Capture the moment.
Absolutely. So thanks for, I want to thank the crews for being here tonight. Thank you so much. Without them, the show will not be possible. And thanks for you, Rebecca
Thank you
Love,
again.
for being here. And again, a kiss to everyone, peace, love, and we will see you next time
Yes.
in March. Okay.